We're going to make a Kinney 2 cheesecake today. We're going to use our chocolate cookie crumbs for the base. And if you don't have chocolate cookie crumbs, by all means, you could use a package of the Kinney 2 cookies.
And you would just put those in a sealable sandwich bag or something like that? And
crush them up.
Roll them up with a rolling pin?
You betcha. Okay, and we're going to use 1 package of chocolate cookie crumbs, which is about the equivalent of 1 package of Kinney 2s. Okay.
So those go in the mixer?
Yeah. And then we're going to add our margarine, and we're using a 1/4 cup of margarine. Okay. And we're just going to combine this. And then we're going to press it in the bottom of our springform pan.
Okay, so I've taken the springform pan and we've lined it with a parchment paper, just so that it's much easier at the end of the process to get
the cake off of the bottom of that
pan.
board. You betcha. Okay. So I am going to give you this to pour in the base of our springform pan.
And then I'm going to pat that down. And do we need to go up the sides on the pan at all?
Just a little bit, just to hold the cheesecake into the base.
Okay.
Okay. And while you're doing that, I'm going to mix our filling. We have 4 packages, 250-gram packages or 8-ounce packages of cream cheese. And we have brought it to room temperature, so it's a little bit softer.
Okay.
And the first part is you're going to mix this in the mixer until it's smooth. And this is important because otherwise you'll get pea-sized little lumps of cream cheese in your end filling. So you want to make sure this part is smooth before we start adding the sugar and the sour cream. Okay, so because we have so much cream cheese in here, you're going to want to scrape down your bowl a couple times, just to make sure that it's evenly mixed. Okay, so this part, our cream cheese is nice and soft.
Yep.
So we're gonna add a cup of sour cream.
Okay.
And we're using full fat sour cream because we're using full fat cream cheese. And we're going to use a cup of sugar. Okay, and we're just going to mix this part until it's combined and that it's a nice smooth filling.
Okay. That shouldn't take very long.
No, it won't take very long at all.
Do we have to scrape it down again while we're doing this?
Yeah, we'll scrape it down one more time. And if you want to add any flavoring in, you can add your flavoring in at this time. So if you wanted to add some vanilla, or if you wanted to change this and do a chocolate base, you could add your cocoa in at this time.
I think our Kinney 2s are going to add just enough.
They're going to add enough, you betcha. So then what we're going to do is we're going to add in a 1/4 cup of all-purpose celiac flour. And it's just to add a little more structure to the cheesecake, and this will help to prevent it from cracking on the top.
Okay, good.
Okay? It's because we're going to add in the cookies.
Yep.
So we want to make sure that we have a really strong base.
Okay.
So once the all-purpose celiac flour is incorporated, I'm going to slowly add 1 egg at a time into this mixture, and I'm adding 4 eggs.
Okay.
Okay? And while I'm doing that, you're going to take a 1/2 package of our chocolate Kinney 2s and crush them for the filling.
All right, so I'm just putting these in a plastic bag. Going to lay them out flat, and I'm going to use this industrial size rolling pin because not everyone would have a rolling pin this big at home. And I'm just going to crush them. And you just roll it over top, keeping them in the bag. And that's all we need to do right there. And then you got some crushed Kinney 2s. Perfect.
And with the rest of them, what we're going to do is we're going to use that for a decoration on the top of our cheesecake after it's cooled.
That looks great. It's going to be fantastic.
So So the reason why you slowly want to add 1 egg at a time and you don't want to throw all 4 in is it can curdle if you add too much eggs at one time.
Okay.
The other thing is we want to keep increasing the volume here because we want a nice fluffy cheesecake.
Yeah.
And we want nice volume. We want it to fill this pan when it's done.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, so after that last egg goes in, you can see that nice volume. We've doubled in size.
Yeah.
So we're going to pull it off and we're going to fold in our
Yep.
crushed cookies and then pour it into our pan.
Okay.
And then we're going to put it in the oven. Actually, probably put it in the oven around 325. We're going to bake it for about an hour and a half.
Okay. And then this is something that after it's done baking, we definitely have to let it cool.
Yes. When it comes out of the oven, it's important to let it rest for 20 minutes before you take the outside spring form pan off.
Okay.
And when you're taking the outside off, it's best to run a pellet knife along the edge and then on-clip the spring form pan.
Okay.
And then after you do that, you're gonna let it rest in the fridge for about 4 hours.
All right. So I'm going to add these in there.
Okay. And cheesecake is one of those desserts that can always be made the night before. And it's usually better if it sits overnight.
It's probably a good idea because it does take a little bit of time. And you want it to cool properly. You don't want to rush it.
So we're just gonna take our pan and we're just gonna pour that in our pan. Nice volume.
Now, will this rise in volume? as
It'll
well?
come up a little bit, but it'll hold the edges of the pan. But it will lift off the top of the pan about 2 inches.
Okay. And this is a 8-inch spring form.
This
reason?
is a 10-inch
It's a
spring
10-inch.
form.
Okay. So this is definitely going to be enough for a family.
Yes. If you're using an 8-inch spring form, then I would cut the recipe in half.
One thing that would be neat too is to use a smaller spring form, even 4-inch or something.
Do
like that, to
individuals, for sure.
Yeah, you could do a few different individual ones.
Or if it's just one person in the family that likes cheesecake, then you can pull out a cheesecake for yourself on a regular
That's
basis.
a good idea.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'm gonna get you to put that in the oven at 325, and we're gonna take it out in about an hour and a half.
Sounds great.
So our cheesecake we took out of the oven a while ago, and it's been sitting on the counter for about 20 minutes now.
Yep.
And it's cold. So we're gonna take the spring form pan off.
Okay.
So all we're gonna do is just unclip it. And if it stuck to the side, we would just take a pellet knife down the side
Right.
and make sure that it's not stuck, and that way we're not gonna pull apart our cake.
Yep.
Okay.
Now we can dig into this guy right away.
No, this unfortunately is something that works better if you're gonna do it the night before.
Okay.
Because now it needs to go in the fridge for about 4 hours.
Because it's got to be
Okay?
cooled all the way
Yeah,
through.
and it's got to set up all the way through. Otherwise, it's still going to be a little bit soft in the middle.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just going to put it in the fridge now.
All right.
So we have our cooled cheesecake, our Kinney 2 chocolate cheesecake.
Yeah, it looks great.
Looks awesome. So we're just going to decorate it up.
Okay.
We have some whipping cream, so we're just going to pipe some whipping cream on the edges. Now, if you don't have a piping bag, by all means, you could use a bag and just cut a hole out of the corner.
Yep.
And use that to pipe the whipping cream on instead.
And I've done that many times. Actually, it works quite well.
Yeah. So I'm just finishing up here, and I'm going to get you to take the other half package of our chocolate Kinney 2s and place them around the edge.
Okay. So now we've got them all on there, and it fit perfectly.
Looks
And
amazing.
it looks great. Let's dig in.
Sounds good.